now I have a guest that has come, and we have just been together so long doing this. He is actually the founder of Black Power Radio. Amazingly enough, he's on the line with us tonight, and we are happy to welcome him to yet another episode of Black Power Radio, taking on a new dimension, becoming Black Power Radio TV News. And right now, he's making the news, and he's been on the front of the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, and has led many delegations to multiple cities in America, and as well abroad to Albania and Africa, and to London and other places to bring the message of we the people to the corners of the world, and especially here at Black Power Radio where he started. So I allow him to share with you a little of his past history and his current involvement, and as well allow a few questions from the audience tonight. So I want to welcome Dr. and Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz to yet another episode of Black Power Radio TV News. Welcome, Mr. Shabazz.
And Black Power, Chairman Emeritus, Black Power.
Black Power, and walaikum salam to you, brother Imam Akbar and brother Dynamite Lightning on this phone line.
Black Power. Good to hear your voice.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Black Powerful.
All right.
It's certainly a pleasure to have you on tonight.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I'm on.
Well, lately, Mr. Shabazz, we've been hearing a lot about reparations, and they say you had the courage to bring a whole national convention to Washington, D.C., and then challenge a few banks, and they're talking about shutting off Netflix, Wells Fargo, Capital One. What's next on the agenda, and how did you arrive at this point concerning reparations? And also, they say they have a presidential candidate in Cornel West and a sponsor in the Honorable Salas Muhammad. Tell us a little bit about how we connecting those dots at this hour, sir.
So thank you for the question. Reparations and getting Black people here in the hills of North America what is justly due to us has been a cause that I have been fighting for ever since I began in this struggle from Howard University in 1988, and ever since I began to be a mentee of the Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad in 1989. We have been fighting for the program of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his program to get our people justice. And so today, as we come off of the National Reparations Convention, which was produced by the Afro-descendant nation, of which I'm happy to be a lead member under the leadership of the Honorable Salas Muhammad, his struggle for reparations continues the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and this work is in line with my long-time work with the Honorable Khalid Muhammad, as well as the chairman, after him being the chairman. It also fits into my work as the chairman of the New Black Panther Party from 2001, 2013, and just recently for a couple of years. So I mean to say that this is fighting for our people, and what is due to us and just for us is it's a lifetime and career work, and we were honored to continue that on in Washington. And we have to press forward in this hour. This is a wild world we're living in. We're in an election world, and we have a assassination attempt on Donald Trump. This no good bastard, Donald Trump. He almost assassinated this devil. And I don't know how the audience is looking at that, but I'm sure they are looking at that. And then you got this wooden fool and tool named Joe Biden. I believe you have, as others have called him, Ho Biden. So he's an embarrassment, And this is all written in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the fall of America, and it's written in the history of the fall of Rome and the fall of Babylon. It's written in the scriptures, and so it's an exciting time. And I think what we want to talk about here, and what I'm concerned about is, the people, and with all of this madness going on. What is the position for who we call God's chosen people? What is the position of the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his descendants in this hour? What is the position of the descendants of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad? What is their position in this hour? What is the positions of the disciples of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the disciples of the Honorable Noble Drew Ali, the disciples of Huey P. Newton, of our great black leaders? What is our position in this hour? And so these are critical and crucial questions. Is black nationalism alive or is it dead? Is Pan-Africanism alive or is it dead? Is Black Pantherism and self-defense, is it alive or is it dead? Is the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad alive or dead? Or are we faced with only the choice of being a monkey for one of these two hunkies, Joe or Joe Biden, or Donald goddamn Trump? Good evening.
I'll just say this, that there were some narrow choices there, and I'm just so happy that you were able to give us updated some insightfulness on how to meet the challenge at this hour. So now we have heard, I mean, we're not a specialist, not the brightest crowns in the box, but this thing about the fake news, can this assassination attempt potentially be fake news? A young 20-year-old, a guy named James Cook with a weapon, an AR-15 or AK style street sweeping weapon. And you and I know, Dr. Shabazz, being around these weapons, that if a projectile from that weapon was engaged within just a few inches of your ear, would take the side of your face and would be squashed down. There'd be lots of blood. And this aim and this follow up, and then tomorrow the congressional hearing will contain the head of the Secret Service. Now, this is one of the first in modern history. He is this guy, the orange toupee guy, some call him, was involved in the insurrection and took nearly 20 some odd police departments and punked them. And it was idea that the Secret Service, FBI, some of them were in collusion to bring some of this about. And today, this challenge brings it to the floor of the Congress that they will question him, the head of the Secret Service, as towards derelict of duty, neglect of duty of some sort, that an ex-president will be assaulted from a rooftop, which you and I know, Dr. Shabazz, that security will cover down on the ground and have those rooftops a certain way. When they know that candidate is in that area, then all the rooftops are covered. But this man, a young 20-year-old, is able to get a loaded weapon in, arms, ammunition, whatever's necessary, to squeeze off a few shots, and then killing. Both incidents have left a few body bags. So what say ye, Dr. Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz? Are these real news developments, or is it just some fake news, cliches, etc.? What say ye, Dr. Shabazz?
Yes, sir. It's a great question, and it's not fake news. This is real news that you can be faked out by if you don't have supreme knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Now, it's real news. And them shots that were fired at Donald Trump, they were real shots. Now, let us be clear. No ex-slave who has been under white oppression or gives a damn if his slave master is assassinated. no ex-slave in the hills of America gives his damn if there is an attempt to assassinate his slave master. So the many black people, or some black people, they were jumping up, hollering and screaming for joy when they heard that Donald Trump had almost been assassinated. This is what I'm hearing. It's not me saying it. This is what I'm hearing. Talking about people in my family. They was only upset because he actually wasn't assassinated. And innately we have to say that the slave, the ex-slave, to feel that way when his slave master is under attack, that means that God is working inside of that ex-slave. As long as that slave does not have another slave master that he's trying to protect and named Joe Biden. As long as you're not jumping for joy when it's happening for Trump, but then you, the white man's nigga, when it comes to Joe Biden, you out on his lawn barking, "Roof, roof," out on his lawn, making sure that nobody attacks your old crooked wooden Parkinson having goddamn whole Biden. As long as it's fair on all sides and you is hard on all white slave masters, and we have to understand that first of all, we don't give a damn. But as we look deeper, we have to always look at an assassination attempt on leadership, because assassination on leadership has also affected black leadership. So every assassination attempt is a lesson, because we can the messages that we send and what is said and the politics of America can lead to assassination, and almost led to the assassination of Donald Trump, and have in the past led to the assassination of John the Fox Kennedy, and Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, and in another sense, Huey Newton, and many others. So as we look straight into the case, as we look straight into this case, we would have to say that it reeks of obvious negligence. It reeks of obvious gross negligence, because from a defensive point, and we all are military men, or many military and tactical men on this line, that the high point, or the building where the shooter shot at Donald Trump, that building was uncovered. And the question would be, why would that building be uncovered by supposedly the most elite and professional security team in the history of the planet, the Secret Service? Why would that young man be able to gain a line of sight on that roof and to be able to take that shot and almost make that shot? It was, and why was it uncovered? Was it intentionally left uncovered? Did they have some kind of tip-off or know that he would be climbing that roof, and they conveniently didn't cover that? As in other assassination attempts, conveniently, the points were James Earl Ray or other points, Sirhan, who moved in on Robert Kennedy. He didn't just pop out a window somewhere unexpected, like Kennedy's assassin, that he, Lee Harvey Oswald, but he was spotted coming down the goddamn street in some camouflage, that he scaled the wall, he got on a roof, and he was spotted by some men who began alerting the Secret Service, and he was on the roof and preparing for over at least a couple of minutes. And them minutes are got to be long minutes. Then more reports out today say that a police officer, a cop, went up there too, climbed up on the roof and spotted him. And he didn't take a shot at the man. They didn't say that he radioed or made an alarm or alert or he took a shot or whatever. They just say he backed down. He just saw him and backed the hell down. And then the man loaded up and took his shot at Donald Trump, which I believe was a real shot. A real shot. And so I would have to say that these are all of the things that conspiracy theorists have to work with, because we don't know whether the Secret Service was in on it or not, Or how could they be so sloppy? And what happened with the cop who saw him on the roof? And why did he back down? And how did all this lapsing and lunching happen? Were they trying to set him up? Have they done everything to this old no-good devil, Donald Trump? Have they done everything to stop this cracker and have been unable to stop this cracker? This cracker has been through federal court conviction, 34 counts on trial and convicted. This devil has had a $350 million judgment on him and then had to put up the bond for 75 or 80% of it. Just of all of that money, which they thought they would break this cracker. They thought they would break him at another point. Many points. They've impeached him twice. Georgia, Florida, New York. For the white man, he's for the white man and the white man only, and white man niggas. He is beyond Teflon Don. He's a white cracker savior for white America. He's a white cracker savior for white America. And he's a champion. Give me a minute. He's a champion for all of these white people who want to take back America. All of these straw chewing, tobacco chewing, overhaul wearing hillbillies and everybody else wearing these MAGA hats. He's a hero. And to be honest, from the white perspective, in this hour, he's a hell of a damn hero. He took a bullet for he's hated by everybody. He stands up and takes a bullet for his cause. He's surviving this shit. So according to the white man, his followers' perspective, that all of his acts are divinely ordained. I say that they're devilishly ordained, but they would say they're divinely ordained. And so to conclude on this, it's all very interesting in this hour. I say it was a real attempt. I would say that this is a dangerous hour. I would say that people that speak the truth and that have a following, that we can't take this lightly in America. That you can and will be assassinated here for what you are doing, and we better take heed and take note. Black power. Black power, black power. Now, on the flip side of the same equation of the orange toupee guy, Donald the Duck Trump was able to successfully duck or dodge the bullet, if you would like to say. But others are saying that if Joe Biden, that he's better known as Joe Biden, had been in on the hoax or in on the assassination attempt, that he would be just another dead cracker. Because of the backdrop or the subordinating facts are that he has gone on the front line of three heads of state, etc., to take them out in the person of Saddam Hussein, in the person of Muammar Gaddafi, in the person of Osama bin Laden and others that they say that Joe Biden is just, that if you name your son Hunter, is beat for sure, put an insurance policy that he's a goddamn killer. And they are hunters and killers by nature and character, according to some of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the fact that they're all seeking the number one spot as killer, and the evidence is in the 59 body bags in Las Vegas, Nevada, when the Donald the Duck Trump had to manage the serial killer who shot off 500 rounds and striking 59 as victims and several others injured. And that Donald the Duck Trump managed that successfully. That means that the killing he was able to manage and mismanage damn near everything else. But with that said, with whole Biden being on borderline of Parkinson's, barely able to, he has even went into a slumber, and they just call him old Sleeping Joe, and some call him Sleeping Ho. But nevertheless, big brother, what if Joe Biden had been in on this, would he be just another dead cracker, or do you see Ho having nothing to do with this assassination attempt? What say ye? if he's still there.
Black Power.
Black Power. Let me know if he's still on.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, he is the president.
Okay,
He is the president. Joe Biden is the president, and he ultimately controls the Secret Service. So you can take that for what it's worth. There is a white power struggle going on amongst white folks about who will rule America. As the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, the Bible says, when Satan casts out Satan, how can his kingdom stand? When you see the intensifying war between MAGA and the right and the left, and they're wrapping up the rhetoric against each other. But let us not think that one devil is less murderous than another devil. All of them are devils. And if we look at their recent history, we can see that all of them have the blood of our leadership on their hands. Jimmy Carter, he tried to topple the Honorable Ayatollah Khomeini. He tried, but Allah took his helicopters and brought them down in the desert and crushed his forces in the desert and forced him out of office. But behind him came the Republican, old Ronald Wilson Reagan. And Reagan started to pick on Gaddafi. And he bombed Gaddafi and killed some of Gaddafi's children. And he was always picking on Gaddafi. But he took a setback when the Hezbollah, the Party of God, and the other revolutionaries in Lebanon attacked U.S. forces in Lebanon and the Beirut embassy in 1982, killing, I think it was in the range of 400 U.S. soldiers in the attack. And that's how that went. Reagan was a killer, but he took some killing. Jimmy Carter wanted, though, buck-toothed Jimmy Carter wanted to be a killer, but he took some hits. But then the white man does not stop in his wickedness. So George Bush came behind Ronald Reagan, and what did he do? He attacked Saddam Hussein. He lined up all his forces, and they attacked a colonial carve-out, a British colonial carve-out in Kuwait that Saddam Hussein had invaded, where they set all that up and used it as a pretext to attack Saddam Hussein after attacking both sides in the Iran-Iraq war, pitting Shia against Sunni. And Bush attacked Saddam Hussein, but he didn't finish off Saddam Hussein. It had to come back to his son of some years later, old George Bush Jr., who ultimately assassinated Saddam Hussein. He's a Republican. Well, he made up some lies, maybe have collaborated in 9/11, and then they attacked Afghanistan, attacked Saddam Hussein, and they ended up having Saddam Hussein drug off somewhere in the goddamn desert. Found him in a foxhole in the desert, then put him on a kangaroo trial and put him on trial and killed Saddam Hussein, hung Saddam Hussein with the help of some bamboozling quasi-neo-imperialist Uncle Tom Muslims over here in Iraq. So I'm trying to stick with me because I'm trying to point out to you that the United States of America is built on violence and it's built on murder. Okay, and the latest two men are just the same. Old genocide Joe Biden, he's just the same, because genocide Joe Biden was the vice president when Barack Obama as the president. When they teamed up on Gaddafi, they alleged that Gaddafi was committing some human rights violations. All the while they sit here and kiss the goddamn behind of the so-called state of Israel, of which genocide Joe Biden is responsible for the murder of 30,000 Palestinians, as genocide Joe Biden has sent the bombs that are killing innocent Muslim women, children, and babies. That is a charge to genocide Joe Biden in this hour. Well, he was the vice president when NATO, that operation, teamed up and killed Gaddafi, ran our brother, the man that helped the Honorable Elijah Muhammad build the Stony Island Mosque in Chicago, the man that helped Louis Farrakhan on his rise, the man that's always been with us. Muammar Gaddafi. Well, Barack Obama, your black president. And that's when I went off on his ass. And goddamn Joe Biden, his vice president, and Hillary Clinton, when all three of these criminals teamed up and assassinated and murdered our brother and drove him out to the desert where he was grossly disrespected and killed out there in the desert by some Uncle Tom